Hello all you Pixel people, I am Pixel and welcome to a quick Let's Talk. In this episode I want to talk about something that a lot of you guys may not agree with, but that is that Battlefield 4 is the best ever modern military shooter. And I say modern twice because I mean like the best modern military shooter, which is new, to be honest. It's quite recent because obviously you've got the argument back to Battlefield 2, and then you've got your argument back to Counter-Strike 1.6 and Source, and even Global Offensive now, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4. And they're all valid arguments, but right now I'm just trying to focus on, like, if you was going to get into PC gaming tomorrow, and you was going to jump into a new game, what is the very best PC first-person shooter, which is currently still feeling kind of fresh. It's not 6 or 7 years old, basically. And I came to the conclusion that it's got to be Battlefield 4. Kind of. And the reason why I say kind of is because if you've seen any of my posts or you've heard any of my little bits of complaining on Twitter and Facebook and on the forums and on Reddit, you'll know that I'm actually having quite a hard time with Battlefield 4, and I'm actually not enjoying it as much as what I would hope that I would enjoy it. But at the same time, I appreciate it. Now, this might not make complete sense, some people are thinking, but how can you appreciate something that you're not enjoying or you're not liking? Well, I can appreciate it because you might not believe this, and unless you actually work in the industry or you take a step back and think about each and every single component which builds up the experience which is Battlefield 4, it's pretty impressive. I mean, you've got bullet travel time, which is something you hardly ever see in first-person shooters nowadays, and it kind of works. The hit registration is far from perfect. In fact, in many respects, it's kind of balked, but the concept and the fact that they've got it working kind of is an amazing thing. The fact that we've got network water in there, which means that sea battles are actually crashing over waves. You can see the ripples, and the way that something ripples can affect your boat. So if you're riding two boats next to each other, you're affected by each other's ripples and explosions. And to me, that's mind-boggling to think that although this is not simulated fluids like what you would see in, let's say, Borderlands, when you blow up a liquid and it kind of falls off down the landscape, this is definitely something very different. This is basically just a waveform net, something like what you see on them old music equalizers. It's very simple in comparison, but still, the fact that this exists, it impresses me. I'm blown away by the fact that we have got this water effect in a modern game, which you can go out and purchase right now, and everybody sees the same waves and stuff. And this is just a tiny part of this huge experience, what you can have on Battlefield 4. I mean, this is the only game right now. I mean, some people will say PlanetSide 2, and I will say, fair enough, that is a valid argument. But in my experience, the experience of PlanetSide 2 is few and far between. I mean, in Battlefield 4, you jump onto a 64-man server, and let's say you're playing Rush, 64-man Rush. It's not advised, it gets a bit hectic, but let's just say, for instance, that you're playing 64-man Rush. And in that first 5 minutes of the game, you're getting up to them first MCOM stations that you want to plant. You've got helicopters swooping down, you've got jets, you've got boats coming in, shooting up into the air, you've got tanks, you've got people everywhere, and that is basically 64 people playing in the space of a few hundred square feet. And, well, not a few hundred square feet, probably like a square mile. You got all these people fighting, and when you take that over to PlanetSide 2, you're talking about a much larger area, and unless things work out perfectly, you very rarely get into these epic situations. It does happen, but I don't know. Battlefield 4 being a little bit more modern, and just the way that the maps are working when you add in the way that the trees blow in the wind, the way that this Levolution, although I'm not sold on the idea of a Levolution, I do think it's pretty much a huge gimmick. Just watching a big building collapse down while water's flowing and wind's blowing, and it's crazy, guys. You must understand that. I mean, as buggy as the game is, that is impressive. We've not come close to this in the past, And it's hard to imagine a time in front of us where we're going to get even better than this. And it's going to happen. And it's going to happen in the next couple of years. But it boggles the mind. It is that crazy. It's crazy. And I think that's what you can put onto it. I mean, like I said, I'm saying all these amazing things about Battlefield, which I honestly do mean from the bottom of my heart. I honestly do believe. If somebody was to come up to me saying that they was going to get the 17, 18-year-old son a gaming PC for his birthday, and he wanted to recommend a game, and it'd have to be Battlefield 4. Nothing comes close to the scale. I mean, like I said, Blinded 2, kind of. It just doesn't encapsulate this very unique. It's hard to believe, but it is. Even though it's modern military, it's guys shooting people with guns, Battlefield 4 has this unique quality. And not to mention the amount of content that you're actually getting for your money. Sure, weak-ass single-player campaign. We expected that, though. I kind of think it's wrong that some reviewers have given a worse score for the overall reviews based on a weak campaign. That's a little bit silly, to be honest. But yeah, it's got a weak-ass campaign. But even if you cut the campaign completely out, and I'm talking about the PC version here, so what we're paying, you can pick it up for £35. I think once you got the premium DLC and everything like that, so let's say you was going to get premium, that's going to take the price up to what, £70 or 100 and something dollars, just $110, £70. It's around there. I'm not 100% certain. It depends when you buy it, where you buy it, and all that kind of jazz. But if you just start off with a core game, we've got 10 maps. We've got Rush, Obliteration, Team Deathmatch, Domination, Conquest Large, Squad Deathmatch. So that's just 7 of the modes. I think there's some more which I'm just letting slip from my mind right now. That's 7 modes on 10 maps. Each map works with each mode, which means that there's actually 70 different experiences that you can have. Because, believe it or not, the experiences per map on different modes is extremely different. It is not the same. Playing Rush, playing Conquest, for instance, Conquest Large, sure, you experience the whole map, and that is possibly what is the focus of Battlefield 4 in many respects. It is about this large conquest gameplay, but you transfer this into Rush, and all of a sudden you are spending a lot more time and interacting with a lot more of these smaller aspects of the map than, well, in Conquest you would basically run past these corridors and you wouldn't need to go there because there's possibly only 2 or 3 people in that whole area. There's a lot of vehicles going around. But then Rush forces these areas to be used, and it's the same in Domination especially. Team Deathmatch, I enjoy the game mode. I'm not 100% sold on its use of the maps. And sure, I will come out and admit it straight away. Some of these maps work better on certain modes than what they do in other modes. But come on guys, we expected that, right? It's virtually impossible to make the perfect map. I believe that Battlefield's come close. Paracel Storm is one of my favourite maps of all time when it's daytime and it's not storming up, but it's got this epic feel to it. Even on Rush, as annoying as the first 2 MCOM stations are, it's an amazing feel. And I can't remember the actual how you pronounce it, but I think it's Havana or something Resort. And that's an instant classic. That map is going to go down in Battlefield 4 history. You can guarantee it. You come back in a few years' time, and that'll be a map which people are saying take over to the next game. It is that good. Again, not perfect, but it's just what you get for your money in Battlefield trumps that of almost every other AAA release that I have ever seen to date. Honestly, sure, it is lacking mod support, which I would have loved to have seen, kind of. And actually, I'm going to go off topic a little bit and talk about mod support right now, because this is a hot topic. Everybody's saying, why doesn't Battlefield have mod support? DICE's excuse and EA's excuse is that the Frostbite engine is too complex and people won't get it. Bullshit, right? I mean, people make some excellent mods for every game which has got the modding capability, including games which haven't. And they make mods which are at the quality of the developers, or sometimes even better. So that's bullshit. It is more likely it is because they want to sell this extra DLC. However, I'm going to go a little bit out there right now, and people are going to disagree with me. A lot of people are more than likely going to hate this opinion. But it has to be said, as good as what modding is in single player games and certain multiplayer games, I honestly don't believe that Battlefield 4 is the right kind of game to implement mod support. Not unless we was going to see mods where people turned it into Star Wars and Star Trek and like crazy futuristic, or maybe take it back to Vietnam or World War II. I'm sure that them kind of mods would exist and they would be absolutely fantastic. But when we're talking about these small mods, what normally happens is it dilutes the community. And it splits up the game, and then all of a sudden it becomes harder to play certain game modes. I mean, right now on Battlefield 4, there are certain game modes where at certain times of the day in Europe, you will struggle to be able to find a full match. Luckily, it's not very many game modes compared to how many there are, but it does happen. And if you're adding mods into that as well, you end up with this very diluted community, and that is only going to get worse when the DLCs arrive, because unfortunately the DLC model does mean that it does dilute over time, and later on down the line, if we came back in 12 months time or maybe 18 months time, we would find it's a lot harder to find certain game modes on certain maps and with certain ticket counts, because it's diluted through, well, 5 lots of DLC by now. But kind of, like, a lot of people are saying that the premium DLC is not worth it. Technically they are right, and technically they are also very wrong. I mean, you're paying the same amount for, let's just say you shop smartly, first off. If you shop smartly, you are going to be paying the same amount for the premium DLC as what you are going to be paying for Battlefield 4 upfront. And what do you get with this premium DLC? Well, you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 15 new maps. In theory, I could be wrong. They could shock us later on down the line and say this DLC is only going to have 2 new maps. But if it carries on with the trend, it'll be 15 new maps. So that is more than what you get in the original game. If they add, I think it's 5 weapons per DLC on average has been added. So if they add that again, what you're going to get? You're going to get 15... No. Wait. Is that 25 new maps and 25 new weapons? If so, that's pretty impressive, right? Like I'm saying, I'm just pulling numbers out of the air now. But premium isn't a bad investment. It's a bad investment today, right now, because the game is so goddamn broken and frustrating to play because of all the bugs that are in it. I can't recommend this game to anybody, even though I'm saying it is the best first-person shooter on PC out today. How crazy is that? Only in PC gaming would we hit the situation where the very best game available cannot be recommended because it's broken. I don't know, it's depressing, guys. It's actually really depressing. But I'm really enjoying it, and the reason why I've made this video is people asked me to do a Battlefield 4 review after I did my Call of Duty Ghost one, and I did consider it. I've not been feeling so great, like, mentally with everything that's happened, so I didn't have the time really to be able to put in and look into all the aspects of Battlefield, and because it is so broken, I understand Call of Duty is broken as well. But because Battlefield's so broken and the patches are coming out so regularly, changing things, it's very hard to make a video which we know is going to be quite different further on down the line, where with Call of Duty Ghost, I didn't have any confidence that things were going to get that much better. But anyway, guys, I'd love to see your opinions on this, because do you honestly think that there's something a lot better, value for money on the PC? I mean, take everything into consideration. I mean, the quality of the graphics, the quality of the gameplay, the concept behind it, the amount of content that you actually get for your money. And I mean, I put it through my head a million times over right now, and I cannot think of anything. Counter-Strike Global Offensive, maybe, because of its price being so cheap. But in my honest opinion, as much as I do enjoy and like Counter-Strike, its scope is so small, and let's be honest, its scope is small, and the gameplay itself is quite antiquated. It's quite old school, right? As fun as that is, it doesn't feel modern, even though it's only just been released. But yeah, these are my thoughts. If you disagree, disagree. If you agree, agree. If you like the video, then slap that like button. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to slap that subscribe button for some more PC gaming goodness. I am Pixel, and I have just left you with the very best PC game currently out, though I cannot recommend it. Yeah, crazy. See you later. Bye-bye.